What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved stars walks onto a talk show set and finds himself in the fight of his life? In just 37 seconds, simple question turned into an all-out war that ended with security escorting someone off the stage, cameras cutting to black, and an audience sitting in stunned absolute silence. Tom Holland arrived at the View studio that morning with nothing but good intentions. He was there to talk about his latest project, a film about mental health awareness that he'd poured his heart into. The studio audience welcomed him with thunderous applause as he walked out, waving and smiling that signature boyish grin that had made him a household name. He took his seat at the table surrounded by the panel. Whoopi Goldberg sat at the head, Joy Behar to his left, Sonny Henn across from him, and Sarah Haynes beside Sonny. The first few minutes went smoothly enough. Whoopi asked about the film, and Tom spoke passionately about why the project mattered to him, how he'd seen friends struggle with anxiety and depression, how he wanted to use his platform for something meaningful. The audience seemed genuinely moved. Sarah smiled warmly at him, nodding along. Even Sonny looked impressed. Then Joy leaned forward. "So Tom," she began, her voice dripping with a tone that immediately shifted the energy in the room, "you're here talking about mental health, which is great really, but isn't it a bit rich coming from someone who's made hundreds of millions playing a superhero in tights? I mean, what do you really know about struggle?" The audience went quiet. Tom's smile faltered for just a moment before he recovered. "Well, Joy, I think mental health affects everyone regardless of their bank account," he said carefully. "I've been very fortunate in my career, absolutely, but that doesn't mean I haven't had my own challenges or that I can't want to help others." Joy waved her hand dismissively. "Oh please, you grew up comfortable. You got handed a role that made you a millionaire before you were 25. And now you want us to believe you understand what real people go through." Whoopi shifted uncomfortably in her seat. "Joy, I think—" No, let me finish." Joy cut her off. "I'm just saying it's easy to make a little movie about sadness when you've never actually had to worry about paying rent or putting food on the table." Tom's jaw tightened. You could see him trying to maintain his composure. "With all due respect, Joy, you don't know anything about my personal life or what I've been through. Just because someone is successful doesn't mean they're immune to pain." "Oh, here we go." Joy laughed, but it was a cold, mocking sound. "The poor little movie star is going to tell us how hard his life is." Sarah jumped in, her voice gentle but firm. "Joy, that's not fair. Tom's trying to do something good here. I'm just keeping it real." Joy shot back. "Someone has to." Tom took a deep breath. "Look, I didn't come here to argue. I came here to talk about an issue that takes lives every single day. If you want to attack me personally, that's fine, but can we at least acknowledge that this conversation is bigger than me?" Joy leaned back in her chair, crossing her arms. "You want to talk about what's real? Let's talk about how Hollywood elites like you pretend to care about regular people while you're flying around in private jets and living in mansions." "I never claimed to be perfect," Tom replied, his voice rising slightly. "But I'm trying to use whatever privilege I have to shine a light on something important. Isn't that better than doing nothing?" "It's performative," Joy snapped. "It's all just performance. You'll do your press tour, collect your paycheck, and then you'll forget all about the little people you're pretending to care about right now." Sonny finally spoke up. "Joy, I think you're being unnecessarily harsh. Tom has actually done a lot of charity. This isn't just some publicity stunt." "Oh, so now you're his publicist?" Joy turned on Sonny. "When did you start carrying water for celebrities?" Sonny's eyes widened. "I'm not carrying water for anyone, I'm just—" The tension was escalating fast. Tom sat there, his hands clasped tightly on the table, clearly trying to decide whether to engage or retreat. The audience was dead silent, watching this train wreck unfold in real time. Whoopi tried again. "Okay, everyone, let's just take a breath here." "And no, Whoopi," Tom interrupted, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I want to address this. Joy, you don't know me. You don't know where I came from or what I've experienced. Yes, I'm incredibly lucky to do what I do, but that doesn't give you the right to diminish the work I'm trying to do or to assume that I'm not sincere about it." Joy scoffed. "I have every right to call out what I see. And what I see is another privileged celebrity trying to score points by pretending to care." "Pretending?" Tom's voice cracked slightly. "Do you have any idea how many friends I've lost? Do you know what it's like to get a phone call at 30 in the morning telling you that someone you care about is gone because they couldn't see another way out? I make this film because I couldn't save them. But maybe, just maybe, it could help save someone else." The raw emotion in his voice seemed to land with everyone except Joy. "Very moving," she said flatly. "Did you rehearse that?" That was the moment something snapped. You could see it in Tom's face. The hurt, the frustration, the disbelief that someone could be this cruel. "What is wrong with you?" he asked quietly. "Seriously, what is wrong with you?" Joy's eyebrows shot up. "Excuse me, I came here in good faith," Tom continued, his voice shaking now. "I came here to have a conversation about something that matters, and you've done nothing but attack me from the moment you opened your mouth." "Why? What did I ever do to you?" "I'm a journalist," Joyce said sharply. "I ask tough questions." "No." Tom shook his head. "Tough questions are fine. This isn't journalism. This is just cruelty. You're being cruel for no reason." Sarah reached over and touched Tom's arm gently. "Tom, maybe we should." He pulled his arm away, not harshly, but definitively. "No, I'm sorry, Sarah. I appreciate you trying to help, but I need to say this." He turned back to Joy. You sit here on your platform on this show that millions of people watch and you use it to tear people down. For what? For ratings. To feel superior. To prove you're the smartest person in the room. Joy's face was wreathing now. You need to watch your tone, young man. Or what? Tom challenged. You what, Joy? Make more assumptions about my character. Dismiss everything I care about. You've already done that. Whoopi was trying to regain control. Okay, Tom, Joy. I think we all need to. She called my work performative. Tom continued, his eyes locked on Joy. She said, I don't care about real people. She mocked me for trying to talk about friends I've lost, and I'm supposed to just sit here and take it with a smile because that's what good guests do. Joy stood up suddenly, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. I don't have to sit here and be spoken to like this by some kid who thinks he's special because he wore a costume in a movie. The audience gasped. Even Sonny looked shocked. Tom stood up too slower, more deliberately, and there it is. You can't defend your behavior, so you go for another insult. Do you even hear yourself? I think you should leave, Joyce said coldly. Oh, I'm leaving, Tom replied. But not because you told me to. I'm leaving because this right here, this is exactly what's wrong with this kind of media. You don't want conversations. You want conflict. You don't want to understand people. You want to judge them. He started to remove his microphone, his hands trembling slightly. Whoopi stood up now too. Tom, please, let's not end it like this. Tom looked at her and his expression softened just a fraction. Whoopi, I respect you, I really do. But I can't stay here and let someone treat me like this. I won't. Joy crossed her arms. Oh, so now you're the victim. I never said I was a victim, Tom shot back. But I am a human being and I deserve basic respect. Something you clearly don't understand. Sonny spoke up, her voice firm. Joy, you've been out of line since he sat down. This has been uncomfortable to watch. Don't you start. Joy pointed at her. No, she's right, Sarah added, finding her courage. This wasn't an interview. This was an ambush. Joy looked around the table in disbelief. Are you all seriously taking his side? There are no sides, Whoopi said warily. But Joy, you have been particularly aggressive today. Tom had his microphone off now. He set it carefully on the table. I came here to talk about mental health, about compassion, about understanding, and instead I got a master class in exactly why so many people are afraid to speak up about their struggles because they're terrified of being dismissed, mocked, or told their pain isn't valid. He looked directly at Joy one more time. Whatever satisfaction you got from this was worth it. He turned to walk off the stage, and that's when Joy made her final mistake. Run along back to your fantasy world, Spider-Boy, she called out mockingly. Tom stopped dead in his tracks. The entire studio seemed to hold its breath. Slowly he turned around. You know what the saddest part of this is? He said, his voice quiet but clear. There are people watching this right now who are struggling. They're dealing with depression, anxiety, thoughts they can't control, and they just watched you, someone with a massive platform, demonstrate that it's okay to be dismissive of other people's pain, that it's okay to be cruel, that vulnerability is something to be mocked. His voice got stronger. Those people needed to see compassion today. They needed to see understanding. Instead, they saw this. They saw you. And some of them might think twice before reaching out for help because what if they get treated the way you just treated me? Joy opened her mouth to respond, but Tom held up his hand. I don't want to hear it. I don't want your excuses or your justifications. I just want to leave. He started walking again, and this time he didn't stop. The cameras followed him as he headed toward the exit, his shoulders straight, his head high despite the clear emotion on his face. Behind him, chaos erupted at the table. Well, that was dramatic. Joy muttered, trying to laugh it off. Joy, what the hell was that? Sonny demanded. No longer whole job, Joy insisted. Your job isn't to bully guests, Sarah said, her voice shaking with anger. Whoopi just shook her head, looking exhausted. We need to go to commercial, but the control room was in pandemonium. Nobody knew what to do. Cut to commercial, keep rolling. The audience was murmuring, some people standing up, some shouting at Joy. Tom reached the exit to the backstage area. A producer tried to stop him, tried to calm him down, but he gently moved past them. I need to leave. Please just let me leave. Back at the table, Joy was becoming defensive. Oh, so I'm the bad guy now? I asked legitimate questions. You attacked him. Personally from the start, Sonny argued. There's a difference between tough questions and being nasty. He couldn't handle the heat, Joy said dismissively. The heat, Sarah's voice. Joy, you told him his pain wasn't real. You mocked his dead friends. What is wrong with you? The audience was getting louder. Some people were booing now, actually booing Joy Behar on her own show. Joy looked around, seeming to finally realize that she'd miscalculated badly. Oh, come on. He's a millionaire. He can take it. That's not the point. Sonny slammed her hand on the table. Money doesn't make you less human. Success doesn't mean you don't have feelings. How can you not see that? Whoopi was trying to signal to the control room, dragging her finger across her throat. Cut, cut. But the damage was done. The audience had seen everything. The tension, the cruelty, the moment when a kind young actor had been pushed too far by someone who seemed to enjoy making him suffer. Backstage, Tom was surrounded by staff members, some apologizing, some asking if he was okay, some trying to convince him to come back. I'm not going back. Out there, he said firmly. I'm sorry for any inconvenience this causes you all, but I'm not doing this. I won't. His publicist appeared, phone already to her ear, already doing damage control. But Tom wasn't thinking about damage control. He was thinking about the people watching, the ones who needed hope and saw cruelty instead. On stage, the show had descended into barely controlled chaos. Joy was arguing with Sunny and Sarah while Whoopi tried, desperately, to restore order. The audience was divided, some still supporting Joy, others clearly disgusted by what they'd witnessed. "We have to go to commercial," Whoopi said again, more forcefully this time. Finally, mercifully, the control room cut away, but it was too late. The damage was catastrophic. In the green room, Tom sat with his head in his hands. A production assistant brought him water. Someone else brought tissues, though he wasn't crying, just processing. "Are you okay?" the assistant asked softly. Tom looked up. "No, but I will be. I can't believe that just happened." "For what it's worth," the assistant said quietly, "you handled that with a lot more grace than she deserved." Tom managed a weak smile. "Thanks. I just wanted to talk about the film, about helping people." How did it turn into that? Back on stage during the commercial break, an emergency meeting was happening. Producers were rushing around. Joy was being talked to by. Sunny and Sarah were refusing to continue unless something was addressed. Whoopi just looked tired. "Woo can't bring him back," one producer said. "He's leaving the building." "Good for him," Sarah muttered. Joy was still defensive. "I don't understand why everyone is acting like I committed some crime. I pushed him. That's what we do here." "There's pushing and then there's what you did," Sunny said coldly. "And what you did was cruel." The stage manager called out 30 seconds. Whoopi took a deep breath. "Okay, here's what we're going to do. We come back, I address what happened briefly. We don't throw anyone under the bus, and we move on to the next segment." Agreed. Nobody looked happy, but they nodded, and Whoopi added, "No more commentary about Tom at all?" Joy pursed her lips but nodded. They came back from commercial and Whoopi addressed the camera. "As you saw, our interview with Tom Holland ended a bit unexpectedly. Emotions ran high on both sides, and sometimes these conversations don't go the way we plan. We wish Tom all the best. It was diplomatic, professional, and it fooled absolutely no one." The rest of the show limped along awkwardly. The energy was gone. The audience was subdued. Every so often someone would try to make a joke, and it would fall flat. Meanwhile, Tom was in a car heading back to his hotel, staring out the window, replaying everything in his mind. He wondered if he should have handled it differently. Should he have just smiled and deflected? Should he have ignored Joy's provocations? But then he thought about the message. That would have sent that it was okay to be treated that way. That he should just accept cruelty because he was famous and successful. No, he'd done the right thing. It hurt and it was messy, but it was right. His phone was exploding with messages. His team, his friends, his family, everyone had seen it or heard about it. The clip was probably already going viral. But in this moment, in this car, Tom just wanted quiet. He wanted to process. He wanted to understand how a simple, promotional appearance had turned into one of the most intense confrontations of his life. Back at the studio, as the show wrapped, the panel dispersed quickly. No friendly goodbyes today. Joy went to her dressing room alone. Sunny and Sarah left together, whispering. Whoopi had meetings with producers that would last for hours. The audience filed out, buzzing with what they'd witnessed. Some were Team Tom, others Team Joy. But everyone agreed on one thing. They'd never seen anything like that on The View before. In the green room, staff were cleaning up, finding Tom's forgotten water bottle, his chair still slightly pushed back from where he'd stood up. Physical evidence of a moment that had spiraled so far out of control. And somewhere in New York City, in a hotel room, Tom Holland sat on the edge of his bed, still in disbelief. He'd come to talk about mental health, about compassion, about using his platform for good. Instead, he'd been in a battle he never wanted, with an opponent who seemed to enjoy the fight. He thought about the film he'd made, the message it carried, about being kind, about listening, about understanding that everyone is fighting battles you know nothing about. Joy Behar had proven his point better than any scripted interview ever could. She'd shown exactly why those conversations were so desperately needed. Tom just wished it hadn't had to be so painful. He picked up his phone and started typing a message to his mother. She'd be worried. She'd want to know he was okay. "I'm fine," he typed. "It was rough, but I'm fine. I stood up for myself. I think you'd be proud." He hit send and set the phone down. Outside his window, New York continued on, indifferent to the drama that had unfolded. Cars honked, people rushed by, life went on. But for everyone who'd been in that studio, who'd witnessed that clash, who'd seen a kind person pushed to his breaking point, nothing would quite be the same. The interview, that was supposed to be about mental health awareness, had become something else entirely. A lesson in how cruelty can come from unexpected places. How standing up for yourself sometimes means walking away. How grace under pressure looks when someone refuses to sink to their attacker's level. Tom had come to The View to promote understanding.